had since finishing graduate school, gathered my growing collection of antiques, and moved to this charming town on the banks of the Delaware River, not far from the spot depicted in the Emanuel Leutze painting of Washington's Crossing. I was more than ready to leave Philadelphia after half a dozen years as a student and almost as many at the library. The Georgian stone farmhouses with painted wooden shutters and stunning view of the river made moving to New Hope an easy decision, but clearly I should have pressed for more details about how the lease would work. "Arthur, would you mind helping me understand what's going on here?" I try to smile and remain as pleasant as possible. This can't be Arthur's fault. But then he gives me a look that says I'm not going to like what comes next. He takes off his vintage bowler and puts it over the silver Labrador head that tops his cane. "Prescott, I would like to introduce you to Danny Roman. He has been running an online shop for a few years, selling all sorts of fun collectibles, from mid-century to kitsch. I have a large inventory of Beanie Babies if you have any holes in your private collection," this Danny says. If the situation is making him nervous, he isn't showing it. "What on earth is a Beanie Baby?" I ask. "Sure, play it coy like you don't have a Dinky the Dodo you sleep with every night," he says, that confident grin returning. "Dinky the—" I start, but Arthur cuts me off. "Gentlemen, please," Arthur says. His warm voice is kind yet firm. "Now, I apologize that I didn't have the opportunity to explain the arrangement in greater detail, but I was quite busy moving my things out and getting the shop ready so the two of you could move your collections in. I want nothing more than for you to put your own marks on this place." Arthur looks around the mostly empty store. The freshly painted white walls and barren space must be difficult for him to take in, considering the decades he spent operating one of the finest shops in the region. "Arthur, I don't understand," I say. How could comic book in a hoodie fit into his plan? "The Beautiful Things Shop has enough space to accommodate you both. You each signed a lease that allows you half." "You're telling me that I have to share the shop with him?" I say, scanning Danny from head to toe. Danny looks back at me, unfazed by my dig. He looks at Arthur. "Where did you find this one? He's wound more tightly than the corset on Lady Footlocker at gay bingo." He then turns to me and says, "Look, you uptight snob, I'll have you know that my collectibles are some of the hardest to find items anywhere. Maybe your things need to stay hidden." I've raised my voice just enough to make my point, but this guy takes it as an attack. He raises his finger and is about to jab back when Arthur interrupts. "Gentlemen, please, both of you. I just came by to make sure you were settling in nicely and make a formal introduction, but I see that isn't needed. I realize this is a bit unconventional, but Prescott, you are one of the sharpest antique appraisers I've ever met, and Danny, no one understands how objects can bring people joy more than you. How you two divide the shop is entirely your decision. I do suggest you be ready for Winter Festival next week. The streets will be filled with winter shoppers." Arthur puts on his hat and grabs his cane. "After decades in this business, I can tell you both one thing. People come in this shop thinking they're looking for one thing, and walk out loving something different entirely." He leaves, and I am alone with Danny. We stare at each other in silence, each of us sizing up the other. This guy barely looks like he has the maturity to run a paper route, let alone half of an established antique store. He's my age, or maybe a few years older than me. I'd guess at least 35, but he's dressed like he's late for homeroom and forgot his homework. In addition to the weird t-shirt and hoodie, his jeans are too big in the waist and too short in length. He has a thick brown scruff, and even thicker hair sticks out from the collar of his t-shirt above his chest. My eyes linger there a moment longer than they should, before I realize this person is going to destroy my chances of being taken seriously in the fine art world. I will not let that happen. I stare him down and smile with a sense of determination.
Danny. Just keep